Hello and welcome to ProtoMet's First Impressions, where I give my thoughts on the first episode of any new tokusatsu show. And in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the first Reiwa entry of the Kamen Rider franchise, Kamen RIder Zero-One. Now, I'm not gonna lie, after the really good stories that the last couple entries of the Kamen Rider series have had, I'm kind of hoping that Zero-One is a bit more of a fun season, one that's not too heavy on the plot. That having been said, it's probably going to go pretty heavy on the plot, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself, aren't I? So, our main character is this guy named Hiden Aruta, who, as it turns out, is the grandson of a wealthy businessman who had recently passed away, who created a company called Hiden Enterprises or whatever, which is responsible for creating a line of humanoid robots called Humagears. So, yeah, it's just, the market of a copyrightable term for androids. It's like the Realians from Xenogears. Or Xenosaga. Sorry, not Xenogears. I've never played Xenogears. Played Xenosaga, so I know what the Realians are. But Aruta just wants to make people laugh. He's introduced as being late to his job, which is as a comedian at an amusement park, and nobody really sticks around to listen to his joke. And it is a terrible joke, but he just wants to make people laugh. That's his motivation as the lead character. He's then picked up by a robot lady who takes him, a Humagear lady, who takes him to the Hiden Corporation to read his grandfather's will, which is basically to announce that humanity will face a great crisis as a result of the Humagears, and that in order to face this crisis, a new piece of equipment will be granted to the president of Hiden Enterprises, Hiden Corporation, Hiden Co. Let's call it Hiden Co. And so the vice president of Hiden Co. I don't recall his name offhand, but he is very pleased that he's going to be given this responsibility until he learns that the will gives Aruto the position of presidency. And the vice president just immediately calls BS on that nepotism, as well he should. Granted, the VP is really only doing it because he's just being gypped out of a major promotion for him. But still, yeah, what the heck? And this equipment is called, I think, the Zero-One driver. That's what it's called. So, but Aruto doesn't want to run this company. He doesn't. In fact, earlier in the episode, he's kind of replaced by a Humagear comedian who goes over so much more better with the audience than his jokes did, which is a little disheartening for him. But his boss kind of is a bit too realistic when he fires Aruto, because Aruto is like, well, it's my dream to make people laugh, and his boss is like, yeah, but this guy is able to do your dream without needing you. So find some other dream, and that's that's hard. That's demoralizing. Still, at the end of the day, Aruto, when his boss faces a crisis, chooses to help his former boss. I mean, it's not his boss anymore since he got fired and now is suddenly running a company, or at least is told that he's supposed to be running a company. Not something he really wants to do. But anyway, there's also this other group I forget their name, but their name is basically a website, so I'm assuming that you could go to that website and it'll probably function. I'm actually curious. I didn't think to go check it out before doing this video, but yeah. So they're in some like fenced off zone or something, but somehow they're connected to like the internet, and somehow they can leave, I guess. I'm really not sure what's all going on. That part's a bit of a mystery, though I feel like that's intentional because it seems like some previous event had occurred, and these guys are trying to make history repeat itself, whatever that implies. I don't know. I don't know what that implies. Let's see. So then, one of the bad guys, one of these hooded bad guys, he shows up at the amusement park and basically infects the Humagear comedian with what is essentially a virus that causes the Humagear comedian to, instead of wanting to make people laugh, wants to destroy humans. So this took a very, very Terminator-esque turn, which is completely to be expected since this whole show seems to be having a focus on AI and all that. There definitely seems to be a focus on AI and robotics. The Humagears are definitely very humanoid, so that shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Also, apparently, Aruto's dad was a Humagear, which not sure what that's all about. I'm sure that'll get explained at some point, but we do learn in a flashback that Aruto tried to make his dad laugh with his jokes, which honestly aren't that funny. And then there's some explosion, and his dad's revealed to be a Humagear or something. I'm sure it'll get explained in some future episode. But, so, yeah, this Humagear comedian, he decides he wants to destroy humanity because the virus or whatever. So he transforms into a mantis-like monster, and I gotta admit, the way that the Humagear transformed into this mantis monster is almost horrific. Like, wow, that is, I would not want that to happen to me, let's just say. So Aruto shows up, just chaos all around. The manager is on the verge of being killed by this mantis-like Humagear. I don't know what this mantis bot is, but it looks cartoony. I like the fact that it looks cartoony. I like that. I like that a lot. So Aruto shows up and saves his former boss from being killed. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, some other Humagears have also gone mad as a result of the virus that infected this first Humagear. And suddenly this team of, like, I don't know, special forces soldiers or whatever, they come in armed with guns, and while their commanding officer or whatever is trying to state the mission statement and their objectives, the head soldier basically just pushes past her and just starts shooting at the rogue Humagears. And it's clear that he has some issue with the Humagears. Like, he really hates the Humagears. And I kind of have to wonder if it has some connection to the mysterious previous event that was hinted at, that we know nothing about other than that maybe it involved robots. Maybe it was a prior AI uprising. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe this is John Connor trying to prevent the Terminator franchise from happening. Which, upon thinking about it, means that John Connor is trying to go back and kill James Cameron. I don't know why that's funny to me. But this is definitely starting to give me some Terminator-esque vibes. At least in terms of the Terminator backstory with the whole robots and AIs overthrowing humanity, turning them into... Yeah, it's crazy. But things aren't really going their way for the soldiers, so the lead soldier goes back into the van and breaks this containment box, I guess, and pulls out this gun that is super powerful and just destroys the Humagears in one shot, the rogue Humagears in one shot. So he wasn't supposed to do that. His boss didn't give him the authority to do that, and he's clearly the kind of character who's going to do whatever the hell he wants, regardless of what anybody else says. And that's a fairly common type of character in tokusatsu in general. Just fiction in general, I guess. So, he's that character. But, anyway, back with Naruto. He wants to deal with these rogue Humagear, but, he can't do anything without relying on the power of the Zero-One driver, which the robot girl shows up to give to him, and he's like, okay, fine, and he basically unintentionally accepts the role of president of the company by doing this, which he learns later, which is a little funny, but he really had been told this beforehand, so it's really on him for not paying it too much attention. So, can't blame anybody else but himself. So he equips the Zero-One gear, and what I really like is that there's actually a sequence that explains how he's able to understand all the various functions of this new equipment upon equipping this equipment for the first time. It's kind of a case where his consciousness gets digitized and goes up to a satellite, and he just gets a crash course in how to operate this new equipment, and this is all within the span of like 5 seconds in real time. So I like that. I like when there's an explanation for how the hero is able to know what the heck they're supposed to do with this new equipment right from the get-go. Some shows will have like another character explain it to this character. Other times it'll be a case of the character already having this knowledge because they've already been working as a hero. So I like it when it does that. Though admittedly it is kind of funny when the main hero doesn't know what the heck he's doing first time out and literally has to be told, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. That's funny, but it's not done like that in this. So I gotta move on. He discovers, he learns how to do it. He equips. He turns into a Kamen RIder Zero-One, and I'm not gonna lie. I like the design of Zero-One. It's very, very bright yellow, very bright like a yellow, like a highlighter marker yellow, almost. Very vibrant. I like that. I like that. Again, I really kind of want this series to be a bit more cartoony and fun. I want this to kind of feel a bit more like the Showa era of Kamen Riders, where, yes, there was a threat, but it's kind of cartoony, a bit silly, fun. Kind of fun. I kind of want to go back to fun, if only for a little bit. So, I'm kind of hoping that this is how this goes, so... Excuse me. So, what's kind of nice is the transformation jingle that plays when he transforms into Kamen RIder Zero-One. It's actually an English phrase that means that is clearly understandable. It's just kind of odd that it's in English, and I wish I could remember it offhand because it's actually it actually is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I like the henshin jingle. The henshin jingle. I like that. Now, in this first episode, he doesn't go into any other forms, but the next episode preview does reveal that he has more than this standard form, so I'm actually kind of hoping that he kind of stays as the solo rider for a little while. I'm not really hoping that they introduce the secondary rider, which they're eventually going to have, like, straight away. I want there to be a bit of story progression before that happens. Can go back to some of the earlier seasons that they've kind of been having, like, okay, here's the main rider, and then here's the secondary rider, like, right away. Please, no, just kind of scale it back a bit, maybe. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that this first episode was really fun and exciting, and I do expect some really great things from this, but at the same time, I just don't want this to be too story-driven, I guess. I mean, it's okay if it's story-driven, but I want this season to be a bit more fun. I want it to feel a little closer to Super Sentai than Kamen Rider Build or Kamen Rider Gun. I want it to kind of be just a fun little solo story without having to drag everything into it. Like, have something that like feels like it's threatening the world, but not to the extent where the entirety of reality or the time stream is in chaos as a result of the events of this. I just want it to be a kind of fun series, and going with Rogue AI, that feels like it's probably going to be a decent direction for this to go. So, rambling aside, I think that this first episode was pretty good. I recommend checking this out. Didn't cover all of the characters and all the stuff that was going on, but I did like the vice president of Heat & Co. who upon arriving at the building, basically is like, okay, now replace the deceased president's picture with my picture, which is bigger and has a golden frame. Like, you can clearly tell that this guy is gunning for the top position, and he thinks that now that the president is dead, he'll be promoted to that position, and then they read the will, and it turns out not to be the case. So, he's probably going to turn into a bit of a bad guy a bit down the line. Probably not permanently, but there's definitely the inkling. I definitely feel like he's going to try to do something to try and further his own position. I do think that that's pretty obvious. But there have been other shows that have done stuff like that, and I tend to think that those make for some pretty comedic characters, so I kind of hope that he's more of a comedic character than a straight up villain. So yeah, check out Kamen RIder Zero-One. This really fun episode. Kind of wish I had more to say about it, but I still recommend going to watch it. This first episode was really fun, and I'm really looking forward to watching more of the show. So until next time, this has been me, ProtoMet. See ya.